I am back, and I'm not using StreamYard. I'm not using StreamYard because I just want to see how YouTube treats me and see if it's this app or if it's StreamYard. So I'm isolating the causes of my terrible streams. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about, I've been talking about music, and um, I've been talking about just how we need to change our minds and and really try to tap into maybe our more intellectual sides. And so I wanted to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about my journey to intellectualism and why I feel like it's safe to call myself an intellectual. Um, I've always had this heightened sense of rational thinking, even when I was a young kid living in pretty weird conditions. I think I found myself one time when I was like 6 years old looking out the window. We had just had like guns on us like the day before, and I wanted to like run away. And I remember looking at this dark alley. We were living on the east side of Detroit, and I was looking at this dark alley, and I was like a kid, like I think I really feel like, I could take my chances. And I was actually weighing my options of whether or not I wanted to run away and take my chances in the dark or stay there. But I really couldn't because, my conclusion was that I didn't want to leave my siblings, who I am to this day very, very close with. So, let me frame this a little bit more. Okay. So I've always had this heightened sense of reasoning of things. I think that throughout my life, I've had some inhibitors. But I think I've always been into jazz music, and I've always been into classical music, and I've always been able to get beyond just the mainstream music that's popular within my community. And I've actually been called an Oreo. Like when I don't know if anybody know what an Oreo is, but like when I was in middle school was like the first time I got called an Oreo, because I've always been into different types of music. And the only reason why I've had this attraction to music was because I really just liked the way it made me feel. And, if you go through music therapy, I've never gone through it, but I've had several friends that have gone through it. It is a really interesting study of how the music really impacts the mood and the mind. And so I've always found that different genres of music allowed me to tap into different levels of my emotions. And so when I was going through my finance exams, I was real stressed out. And so I listened to, and I wanted to say, I don't like to use copyrighted material, but just for the sake of, this educational purpose discussion, I'm getting ready to play some Coltrane, right? So, when you're studying, for me, I'm like, okay, I could listen to, the mainstream, whatever standard of music is popular for me to listen to, or I can listen to music that really helps me tap into my intellectual side. So, I'm listening to, this is some Coltrane, obviously. And when you listen to Coltrane, obviously, especially if you close your eyes and really just let the music take you to a place, it really sort of opens up your intellectual capabilities. And I realized that when I was taking my finance exams. I transitioned my career last year into finance. And I didn't even think I could really pull it off in this industry. But I did. I got past all my exams. But I listened to, a lot of Coltrane, and Coltrane really got me through. It's a really good mix on YouTube. Um, if you ever want to just check out Coltrane, just go on YouTube and find any mix. And it really opened up my mind to intellectualism. And I didn't want to make this a long video, but what I really wanted people to do is sort of go back to the old school. You know what I mean? Go back to maybe some of the old school instrumentals. I get it. I started listening to Nat King Cole because I was addicted to his song from the Amazon commercial. And what it does, a lot of times, like I said, music invokes emotion, and then you start on that journey of listening to that type of music. And, before you know it, you're finding your peace just in changing your music. You know what I mean? Music is very, very influential. And as I stated in my previous video and videos before, music can have a really negative effect on an individual, but also a negative effect on a culture. And so I started listening to more Coltrane, more jazz type music, more easy, classical Billie Holiday type music. And one of the reasons why I'm listening to a lot of, your classical like Etta James and Billie Holiday is because, like I said, the music that I've been growing up with, it's made me forget how to be a woman. And even even when guys like, why are women so hard, blah blah blah, I used to reject that, like, you're just a beta guy that just is intimidated by the alpha female. But the alpha female can have her feminine side, she can have her surety about herself, but she can also have that feminine side. And I think a lot of our femininity is robbed from us because of the music that we listen to. We don't listen to music that feminizes the Black woman or the woman in general, because even women of other races are buying into, our cultural standards. And it's unfortunate. I have to check out Coltrane. Oh, girl, Coltrane to have you just on a whole different mind wave. He'll have you reading books in the park. He'll just have you doing regular stuff that's just completely checked out of cyberspace, for real. My grandfather was a sax player in a jazz band. Coltrane was a favorite of his. Good man. Your grandfather, good man, good taste. Coltrane's a class. I mean, even if you just go back to some of the old school Black folk music, though, Time has this compilation of 70s Black music. And, when I listen to just a preview of that compilation, I'm like, man, Black love changed when Black music changed. And I will keep saying that. Black love changed when Black music changed, because the lyrical content of a lot of that music in the 70s is significantly different than our R&B of today. And we got to understand that this is not just the artist doing, this is the industry telling them what they want to have projected to Black people. You know what I mean? So I found that when I started listening to more jazz, it made me more prone to want to just get into more intellectual things like reading and, just enjoying nature and just stopping and unplugging and regaining my sense of rationality. And that's one of the things that, I'm trying to get people to do with my content as well, is regain a sense of your rationality. You know what I mean? When you're in cyberspace, when you're in the internet world, and when you're addicted to the, bandwagon emotions and bandwagon thoughts and thinking, of other people, you lose your sense of individualism. And I feel like, the individual person is as much under attack as people collectively as well. So I just wanted to, put this out there to people. Maybe you're looking to make some adjustments in your life. Maybe you don't really know exactly, where to start. Maybe start with the influences that, create a negative energy imbalance in your life. Get back to the classics, or explore some classics that you never even thought about. Coltrane is cold. I mean, if you ever want to feel how cold Coltrane is, just go for a drive, a scenic drive, and put on some Coltrane. And I'm telling you, it will make you feel like a different person. And when you get into that moment of feeling like a different person, keep it. And you keep listening to those things that make you feel like a different person. And then when you start feeling like a different person, let me tell you something, you're going to start expanding your mind. You're going to expand your mind, and Brother Thomas Sowell that's Thomas Sowell. I got a couple of Thomas Sowell books, Walter Williams, Shelby Steele. You start reading some brothers like that, listening to some Coltrane, go in the park, do something significantly different. Instead of hanging out with your homies, just go drive in the park, open up a Thomas Sowell book, open up a Walter Williams book. You know, Shelby Steele has a really good one, White Guilt. But Walter Williams, he's the truth too. Race and Economics is a good book. And actually, I would start a brother off with this book, actually, for my brothers who were talking about the trade schools and y'all want to start, your own business, and you talking about the black family and you got all this black to say about black women. Educate yourself too. Sorry, my nails are not done today. But educate yourself too. Brother Walter Williams, all right? He passed away last year, unfortunately. And he's definitely somebody that I would have definitely wanted to meet before he passed. He was definitely on my bucket list. So check out Walter Williams, you guys. I want the brothers to get this. I want all my brothers who are talking about the black family and black women and economics and what's going to make the black man viable. Listen to a black man. He passed away last year. A lot of brothers were not privy to learn about Walter Williams. A lot of brothers weren't privy to learn about Brother Thomas Sowell, right? Because they wanted you on Martin Luther King, all the civil rights people, not the sensible people. Brother Thomas Sowell, Brother Shelby Steele. They wanted y'all brothers distracted from those brothers. They wanted to force feed you the intellectuals that they wanted you to know about, right? But when you listen to some Coltrane, you pick up one of these brothers, and I'm telling you, you will become a different type of brother. I promise you. Because I'm a different type of sister in 1 year. In 1 year, I'm still alpha. Don't be mad at me for that. But I'm telling you, our brothers need to start reading the good brothers, the good guys, the real brothers, right? The real brothers. Yeah, check these books out. I mean, our brothers, they talking that good game, but will you pick up a book and will you educate yourself? Will you pick up a book and educate yourself? Because just as much as they need to know coding and trades, they need to learn how to be economically viable leaders of a household. And that's word 100. You can learn trades until the cows come home, but if you don't know how to manage your money, if you don't know how to make home economics make sense for your structure, you're just learning the trade and having a job, my brother. I'm a big Grover Washington Jr., Herbie Hancock, the Crusaders fan over here. Right on, right on. You know what? You just put me up on some authors that I don't have. I mean, shoot. I don't have none of them. I mean, I'll tell you this, for a lot of people, they might think I'm a weird, but I also became an Ayn Randist last year. If you ever want to, I don't know if you can see that, but Ayn Rand, I want to call her the mother of individualism. And if she inspires me a lot in terms of, understanding the difference between, individual responsibility and altruistic or social responsibility. What's up? What's up? I want to call you KD. I'm just going to call you KD. Because that gangster brew, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a nice little brew. I'm going to call you KD. But what's up, hun? I'm talking about I'm trying to drop some intellectual knowledge on my people because I feel like, one of the things that are missing, one of the subcultures I find that is really missing is true Black intellectualism. True Black intellectualism. And I think that it starts with, the music and the mindset. You know what I mean? And so, like I was suggesting to people, KD, we need to get the Black music in order. You know what I mean? Evan Jeff Lober got funky in the 70s, very underrated. I was mentioning before you came in that, Time has this compilation of R&B 70s jam. And if you listen to that little preview, you're like, damn, black music was on a totally different level, and I can see why we did not have the level of broken homes that we have like we do today, because now black music is saying, fuck you, I can move on to somebody else, or you're irrelevant, you know what I mean? But my jazz gotta be funky. Yeah, I like funky jazz, but for me, I'm more of the, Coltrane. Give me some Coltrane. Give me some Billie Holiday. I want mood. I'm straight mood. I don't like, we have this artist, and my friend's gonna kill me, but Alexander Zonjic, out here, and I'm just not a fan of that flute stuff, that flute type of contemporary. Is that contemporary jazz? I don't really care for that. That Squidward. I think of Squidward from SpongeBob when I hear that music. That type of jazz. Beanie Muffin is an excellent composer. Is it Maupin? Maupin? And don't give me the line about composers, because I just been on my Coltrane, my Etta James, and my Billie Holiday. My usual suspects. But you are going to broaden my horizon. Let me pull out my paper right now, because I'm pretty sure you're going to lead me down a rabbit hole of some really good jazz music. And it's so funny because I'm 38 years old and I feel the change. I feel the change. It's like I'm not interested in the things that I was interested in. And this has been before 2020. I could feel myself just being less and less, interested in just, the popular culture mindset and point of view. And, I could see myself more so focusing on my personal development. And, like I said, I eliminated a lot of influences in my life, including toxic females, people that were kind of 100s, but we were just in different points of life. And I did not want to keep inheriting, those type of problems and influences. And I feel sometimes you do a so-called good friend the best service when you let them go and let them understand that they need to get to, the amicable point in their lives. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can be guilty by association. You know what I mean? And I got tired of, with some of my friends being guilty by association, where we go out and it don't matter if I think anything about myself. If I'm hanging out with a bunch of females that don't reflect the values that I'm developing, you know, we all gonna still look like ratchet bitches at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all gonna look that way because, the people from the outside looking in don't know. All they see is the ignorance of the bunch. You know what I mean? So, I'm older now though. I'm not a young millennial. I'm a Gen Yer. They tried to X out, they tried to get rid of Gen Ys because they know we were the last generation in America that actually went through the education of critical thinking. We actually, when you think about it, if you are my age, you are the last generation. You are the last generation. If you 38, 39, anywhere in that category, I would say between 34 and 30 and up, you are the last generation that actually went through the U.S. education, the U.S. Department of Education system of critical thinking. Because the generations after that, they got infiltrated with critical theory, not critical thinking. And there's a difference. There's a significant difference, but getting back, I changed my whole program a lot, making adjustments. And sometimes, to my females, I had, this girl tried to argue with me about Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. I mentioned that before. And it's like, you're addicted to ignorance, and I can't help a black woman that is addicted to her own ignorance. and who is jealous of the fact that I'm not addicted to the same type of ignorance. You know what I mean? And that's a problem with Black women today. We don't like to see other Black women progress in a more actualized way. It becomes, who does she think she is, or she thinks that she this. And sometimes I'm like, I wish that woman that they keep saying, you think that you're like, actually, I do think that I'm that. And you wish that you could think that you're this, but you're stuck in your ignorant mindset. And stop making that my business. I wish ignorant people would stop making their ignorance and their insecurity of their ignorance other people's business. I really do. Because if I want to change myself and my mental disposition about something, you know what I mean? If you really are empowering my sister, like some of you want to claim that you are, or whatever, why does my mental elevation intimidate you? I know, because you're not doing it. You're not there yet. And now you want to make that my intimidation and my business, and I won't allow you. So now I'm a bitch. I'll be that. Nancy Wilson's voice is beautiful and elegant. I have not listened to a lot of Nancy Wilson. I'm going to be completely honest with you. But I will give her another listen. I'm sorry. Nancy Wilson. And I probably did hear some of her music. I just probably just don't recall the artist offhand right now. But getting back, I want people to just, if you're thinking about making some adjustments, start with your music. Start with your music, and then start with maybe, your intellectual takeout, if you will. Instead of going in front of, the TV and letting, sucking in all kinds of craziness, read a book. Get some intellectual enlightenment. You'd be surprised, how much of a better person you will be in terms of your rationality. And also how you reason on arguments, how you take arguments in. You know what I mean? And people will definitely look to you a lot differently when you start articulating, reasonable things based off of, what you read and how you connect dots. So thank you. I need a few I'm telling you, get your new vibe. And sometimes your new vibe is just changing your whole program. I don't feel like an old woman at all. Like I still feel like I have my little quirky, obnoxious, self. I'm pretty humorous, in my own right. Maybe you don't agree. But I'm coming into myself in a way that's organic to me, and I don't care about any idea of what a Black woman should be. I don't care about any idea of community struggles and ideas. I'm coming into my own and actualizing myself. So I think, like I said in one of my videos back with W.E.B. Du Bois, when he talked about the native Black American, having that dual consciousness, I feel like I'm at the elevation, the Leroy. I got the glow consciousness where I understand what factors are contributing to the conversations that are happening within the Black community on a continuous basis. I'm going to do my part in terms of reaching out and helping the individuals in my community that really needs help. You know what I mean? And when I say my community, I'm talking about the people that I live around, regardless of their color, and I'm going to specifically target Black organizations that I personally believe in, and I'm going to connect them to my network, and I'm going to continue to, link them with centers of influences that can get them funding. And like I said, I do a good job at that. So I do my part. You got a good project, and if I see it's sustainable and I believe in it, I'll plug it to my network. And I did it yesterday, and I had people, I donated. I'm like, cool, thanks. I'll plug any Black organization that actually is making moves in the community, and I know that the funds are actually going to go and make a difference. Like this organization I plugged yesterday that I got people reaching out to me about. This organization, the Detroit Rescue Mission, has been around for a while, but I have specifically had a part in it since I was a kid because, when we seasonally, when we would grow out of our clothes, we would gather them all up in a bag and we would take them to Cott's homeless shelter downtown, and so that they partner with the Detroit Rescue Mission. So I was very familiar with what they do and what they stand for. They help women, homeless women, um, get business clothing, help them with job interviews. They help them do resumes. And actually, that's part of the volunteering that I want to do in the next couple of weeks is I have a career coaching background and I want to kind of get in front of some of these ladies and get inside their heads and sort of get them on a pathway to thinking about not just a job but a sustainable career as well. Well, of course, today's jazz died because it got dependent on technology. Of course, thank you for unraveling the mysteries of the book of Revelations that can be an intellectual's playground. Yep. Have a good night. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're just talking about music and how it can definitely change a person's program. And I'm encouraging, a lot of my people to sort of think about, getting into some Coltrane. You know what I mean? When I want to study or kind of get into an intellectual mood, I listen to Coltrane, and he's helped me get through my studies. Like I passed my finance exams listening to Coltrane. I didn't listen to anything else. And when I started listening to Coltrane, it sort of unlocked this sort of intellectually curious side of me. And I just started reading books last year, and I just became obsessed with reading books. And I think reading these books and listening to and hearing these different authors provide their perspective on the same topic, really helped solidify a lot of the assumptions and conclusions that I made too. So I'm encouraging people to tap into intellectualism. And if you are not a member, I created a social platform, and it's designed for people who are interested in engaging with people who are intellectuals or people who have an objective opinion. So if you want to join a platform that, it's not about the censorship, but we are about the respectful public discourse about serious topics, join the Thought Corner. It's www.thethoughtcorner.com. And I think that, if you're an individual, like I said, that wants an objective viewpoint on today's arguments, I think that this audience, you may be interested in engaging with the people that are joining this site. And you have to be approved in order to become a member, because I don't want it to be a free for all of ignorant people who like to troll. This site is very, very specific to intellectual thinkers. And so if you're a troll, if you harass, you get kicked off right away. We don't even play it because we want people to be able to engage respectfully and really get back to the art of respectful public discourse, where you have an argument, I have an argument, you disagree with my argument, but I can still listen to your argument and let you walk away with your dignity. We both walk away with our dignity, even though we did not agree. And we need to get back to that. And that's what my website fosters. So again, if you want to join and you're looking for some, new perspective, join the Thought Corner, www.thethoughtcorner.com. You can create your own profile. A lot of the individuals that have joined the site have been individuals from the business site LinkedIn who have felt as though they have experienced a level of censorship from their companies or their organizations. So I created this site for them just so that they can have a place to talk about, topics that interest them without feeling like somebody is censoring them. I feel like if you have an opinion about COVID or the vaccine based off your own personal experience, I think that you should be able to share that without, anybody, bugging you about that or kicking you off a platform. I actually talked about the remedies that I used to get over COVID and I got banned. Or, it's like, come on, you guys are ridiculous with that crap. I need help. I'm a Black female animator with a Pan African interest. The larger industry has rejected my work. I'll be honest with you, I don't have any background in that area at all. And the only projects that I kind of plug are ones that are viable to help in the community. But I would encourage you to collaborate with other artists. I mean, the best way for Black Americans to ever get ahead, just like white people do, is to collaborate and network and build your network around centers of influences that can believe in your projects and your initiatives. Man, I'm feeling dry now. Like, I feel like I've been talking too much, but find somebody that will believe in your initiatives and network with people of like minds. There's a guy on YouTube, Eric July, Young Ripper 59. He's into that whole animation front, and he may be able to be a resource for you. So definitely reach out, connect with him, and see if he's a resource. That's just not my space. I submitted to DC Films a ship named Jesus and was dragged by white folk. Never again. I see. You gotta find people. To me, when you're an artist, obviously you're gonna believe in your art more than anybody else, right? And part of being able to sell anything is to get people to you know understand the necessity of what you're selling beyond your beliefs that is good. You know what I mean? Um, and that comes with having like deliveries, so figuring out a way to leverage your art, leverage, the work that you have right now in a way that gets you some, credibility in the community in some kind of way where, you can build a portfolio of individuals who have, showcased your art or vouched for your art. And that may be your way to be able to do some self marketing. People wouldn't believe the power of self marketing. Networking and self marketing is always going to be your winner. You look at all these YouTubers, all these people who have kind of blown up using the internet. That's why marketing organizations are all like freaking out, because the internet has continuously set the standards for marketing time and time again. So, because these independent people who don't have the degrees, who don't have the backgrounds, they're doing it independently and they're doing it better than these so called subject matter experts. So, I would definitely, keep your network strong. And like I said, keep your centers of influences strong too. You know what I mean? And, I don't subscribe to some of the rhetoric that other people subscribe to when it comes to collaborations and networking. You have a lot of pro Black people like, oh, we need to work together and we need to stay away from the white man's money and the white man's money. And it's like, you know what? In the system of money in America, it's always going to touch the white man at some point. You know what I mean? Whether you're getting it from him or it's being funneled back to him in some way. So it's like, be open to collaborating with individuals that don't look like you. And I got a personal opinion about collaborating with my fellow Black folks. And some people may not like it, but I don't always just jump on the train of collaborating with somebody because they're Black. That's just me, my own personal opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but I'm not that jump on the Black train person at all. Oh, we got to help each other, oh, we got to do that. Nah, I'm not a believer in that. I only work with Black people that have sound deliveries. You just as big as a hustler. You've demonstrated it, and if I put my name on you, I'm not going to regret it. So, I don't really throw shade at my brothers and sisters when, people like, oh, she didn't want to help me. She didn't want to do that. She didn't want to plug me. It's like, I wouldn't have plugged your ass either. You know what I mean? You don't show up on time. You have this entitlement about you. You demand respect that you have not deserved or earned. So, I don't, and I tell Black people this all the time. And I would tell any professional, whether you're Black or white, don't plug nobody that you don't believe in, that you've never seen their deliveries before. You know what I mean? And you have to be firm on that, because your name is everything. And sometimes I'll take a hit on my name for not plugging somebody, and you telling people that I don't plug people, then somebody plugging you, and then you out here embarrassing my name because you're not delivering for people. So be conscious of that. Protect your name. Protect your name, because people will definitely want you to vouch for them, and they may not be the people that you should be vouching for. So I gotta go to bed because I gotta get up and get back into the routine of work. But you all have a wonderful day. Where's my Coltrane? Should we close this out with some Coltrane? Oh, shoot, my phone dead anyway, so I guess we will not be closing out with Coltrane. We opened it with Coltrane, but listen to some Coltrane. Get it back into some of that jazz, some of that old school rooted soul type of music. I think a brother mentioned earlier, Black women, they need to listen to more India Ari. And when we were more into our feminine energy, listening to some of this feminine energy soul music, I think that we were better women. So let's change our music style, get back into the feminine energy music, right? Change our program, deprogram ourselves, and once you start getting into that Coltrane, pick up a book. This is, oh my Gatorade is empty anyways. Pick up a book, and I recommend, my brothers, please check this out. This is for the Black brothers, but this is for anybody though. Anybody can check this out. But I was specifically the Black brothers in the manosphere, talking about, family, talking about we need to change the Black image. We hear you, but your Black women are here as, we're compliments to you. We are partners to you. And as a partner in the Black community, I'm telling my brothers, tap into your intellectual side while you're having these conversations. So as you have these conversations, you can articulate and you can be stronger in your argument and your influence to your brothers. So good night. YouTube seemed to work fine, so I'm gonna have to check StreamYard, because I don't feel like I had any problems with this stream. Did I have any problems, you guys? Tiff, you already know the drama I have with these streams. Was there any drama? Did anything freeze? It seemed like it went pretty good, so it got to be StreamYard. Sorry, YouTube.